they doing scrims, but let's see. Maybe he's after Orca's job now.
Certainly could be, as we do now load onto the Rift. And I wonder if, you know, one thing that I think would be possible, it might be a little niche and never would realistically happen, but if you mark a camp as Ivern and then Blitzcrank hooks it over, you could probably just smite it away and have no real contest.
Yeah, could be something that they look for. Now, one thing a little different in this game is the lethal tempo picked up by Azir. So this is something that I've been advocating for recently. I think lethal tempo Azir is actually better than Conqueror, although pretty much the entire world does take Conqueror at the moment. So it does allow for a bit of a different build. Something you see at the moment is Chapter into Nashes to give you that attack speed early. But if you take the lethal tempo, it allows you just to complete your Chapter item, you know, the likes of the Leandry or the Crown. And it can kind of make up for not having that attack speed in those early skirmishes. Feels like you have a much smoother scaling curve and maybe even better in the late game, especially against some more short-range comps. So I'm a big fan of the rune. Let's see what he gets done with it.
It's an extremely short-range comp. And even your only real range is Tristana. Graves is range technically, but feels a bit and plays a bit like a melee champ. It feels so hard to do anything against this Azir. Even the Ivern, like, it's going to be so annoying to play against Bushes and Daisy as well. I have to say, I mean, it's going to take pretty high level of execution out of Dewish team here to really make any sort of progress against DCG. Now, I think for this mid lane matchup, I mean, you can tell me more, but we've seen this quite a lot. It tends to go the way of Azir, especially until Akali can really finish that first item and join skirmishes, at which point Akali's still not that good in the isolated 1v1, but definitely does better in the 2v2s. But even saying that, Ivern Azir versus the Graves Akali, I don't think it's so clear which is better.
It does feel really tough. I mean, I would say it is clear which is better. I don't think Ivern Azir can die at all to Akali. We will see maybe if Zhao 2 can find some sort of snowball. But it feels really hard. I mean, Akali traditionally was picked up against Azir because you really need something that isn't just going to die to the level 6 gank. And while Akali does have a way into this game of being better at those skirmishes, when Azir's just getting perma-priority on mid, it is really tough to actually get involved. Especially when it feels like pound for pound you are just a weaker team. You can see Mission already building up a sizable lead in that mid lane. And that can be a problem if you never do find your kind of first kill, your first way into this game as the Akali. You can really just be out-farmed and kind of useless, especially going up against Mission, who you'd have to say, for some of his other faults, is probably the strongest laning mid laner in the PCS, and also probably the strongest Azir.
Ooh, Yao2. Probably taking a bit more damage than he perhaps wanted to. Do you think it's going to be Static Shiv Akali this game?
Ooh, good question. I think it won't be, because he's... Oh, hold on, we got a gank to the bot lane.
It's going to be Pepero getting knocked up early. He does have that rocket jump to get himself away as WSL. Trying to get down here and cover, but this wave is now in a terrible, terrible position for the Wish team's bot lane.
That is a little rough. 3 sums lost there for the side of Dewish team. At least they have their jungler in the river, so probably will be able to crash this, but if Nesty can find a hook, could see that.
Ooh, Mission.
He has E.
Okay.
Yeah, just be able to get out. It is very difficult to gank an Azir. You know, even pre-6 has some disengage. Post-6 has even more. And we'll be fine just to kind of collect this wave. And has the CS lead even without this giant wave picked up, which just kind of says something about the state of mid lane. Because he is just going to pull miles ahead here. I wonder, will Zhao 2 recall? He doesn't have a lot of gold to buy. Looks like he will. Top lane, it's been fairly stable so far. We've sometimes seen the Renekton's come out very ahead in this matchup. But I feel like Hanabi probably the stronger laner out of the 2 players here.
I wonder what build Chris Garda's going for as well. Does have the Halo Blade, so it does lead me to believe he'll be AP. But we have also seen this guy go Lethality, which I believe if you do go Lethality is better with the Halo Blades as well. And you do have a fairly substantial amount of AP damage in both that Ivern and Azir this game. Also the Doran's Blade. I think... I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure we see when Static Shiv is the first item, they tend to build the longsword with the potions there, the refillable.
Yeah, pretty common. I think it's also a very safe bet to have Mission as your kind of big AP threat. He pretty much always gets fed. That's very nice. And Zhao 2, he's going towards the Merc Treads on the Akali, which you can understand why. There's double AP mid-jungle. At the same time, I'm not sure if you can afford to do this because this delays your first item even more. And you can see now with the Lost Chapter against these very weak components coming in from the Akali, I'm not sure if Zhaozu's going to find, the kill that he needs in this game. Almost feels like it might be better just to rush damage because at least then you have some sort of edge over mission. Otherwise, I think you might just be slowly bleeding out.
And it kind of does feel a little bit of a waste for the tenacity that item gives as well. You don't feel like you need all that tenacity against this team comp. I mean, tenacity does nothing against the Blitzcrank, does minimal against Ivern. Weird choice. You also have the tenacity already in your runes, so...
Yeah, true. Oh, Hana could be
yeah,
caught. This could be the
fighting
way.
a lot of damage.
Oh, Zhao. I think you should flash for this.
Is going to. Hana will have to commit flash as well. So it is a flash trade. Hana now putting up those Bushmakers.
Not too bad, all things considered for Dewish team. Akali with no flash is completely fine. Now Ivern could be a little vulnerable.
He doesn't want to go for this Gromp, I don't think.
Ooh.
We'll spot out that it's being taken.
Yeah,
Has Smite available,
this
so
up.
this should just be his, but...
Oh, maybe you can get it.
Oh, Nesty
hook on
finding
bot.
the hook here. It's going to be Pepero getting extremely low. Rocket jumps on the spot. I don't know if that's what you want, buddy. 1 HP is going to be getting away. And now it's WSL coming in behind, but are they going to have the damage to take out Inhale first? Is Hana also coming, delaying this Graves from arriving as Cascada manages to find the first blood. Now it's 3 turning their interest towards WSL. He's in the wrong neighborhood as well. Manages to get one for himself, but it's going to be Hana and Cascada picking themselves up 1 apiece.
It's a nice snowball there for DCG. And it was very lucky for Pepero that he managed to get out. I feel like that rocket jump on the spot probably wasn't the wisest choice.
Dirk on Cascada.
Okay. I mean, I like it this game.
Yeah, I think it's good this game. Lots of squishy targets.
Not too many tanks. And also, I think you're really going to want MR up against Missions Azir. And we'll see how this nice hook started this off from Nesty. And I'm really surprised. That has to have been a misclick, I feel like. Because there's no way. I mean, he did get the reset, but surely it would have been better just to leave earlier. And he was so close to going down there. And I think Enhal thought he was actually going to be okay with WSL coming around. Bahana there to match. Does end up going down for that first blood, picked up by Cascada. And that's the snowball you desperately want. I think the heal might have been slightly too late. Yeah. I think he didn't get the heal off, but... Oh, Hana, no flash.
Oh, does have that. Wow. Okay,
Should
so
be
Zhao
gone.
2. Flash forward from WSL. This is going to be Hana going down. It misses the collateral damage. Emperor Divide now, he's under the tower. Somehow, this miraculously turns into a 1-for-1. That Graves ult going wide, what a tragedy.
Feels like just pure execution difference there. Dewish team, they should have been able to pick up a clean 1-for-0. Probably would have been ideal if Zhao had managed to pick it up on the Akali. Instead, though, I mean, at least managed to pick up the kill, but it was so much invested. And even more gold going over to mission. He's trading pretty heavily, and I don't feel like he needs
Doesn't
to.
have ult. This should likely be a kill to Zhao 2. He might have to commit his own life to it. Actually, it's going to be Flash.
Ooh.
Ivan in the... Zhao 2! What just happened? How did he not tank a tower shot?
I'm not sure, but I think a new Akali combo just dropped. Zhao 2.
What?
I think he was a little lucky, honestly, to get out there. Mission, he was doing a good job baiting him. And now, with no Akali ult, no flash as well, should just be able to crash this. I think you're right. Mission might have died there if Zhao 2 had played it a little bit better, but able to just crash this in, can go for a base if he wants, or maybe a little bit more pressure on the tower, as he knows there just isn't enough threat. And now with the Shroud used, surely is nothing left.
Yeah, this is so annoying to play as Akali right here. No, I don't know if we've mentioned this, but Pepero has Ghost on the Tristana.
Yeah, I think it kind of does work well with having the Milio. And maybe just isn't worried about, any sort of all-in. I mean, it really is just the Blitz hook that you need to dodge. The rest will probably just be poke. And WSL picking up this first Herald. It is a trade for the Dragon. And I think, honestly, both teams can be happy with this. On the side of DCG, it means you secure your scaling. We'll just have a longer game. Whereas Dewish team, you hate to see it. They can use it to speed up the game. Now, direct your eyes towards Mission's inventory. He is once again doing his Shadow Flame Rush.
I was actually, when you were talking about the new build, I was thinking, imagine if he goes Shadow Flame this game. I didn't say anything, but he's doing it. This guy loves his new dark tech.
He is.
He'll do, admittedly, more damage, especially with, poking and just hitting Qs. perhaps less sustained damage over the course of a fight, but I guess in this instance, you're not really struggling too much for sustained damage having that Kai'Sa. Although it is going to be lethality Kai'Sa.
Ooh. There's also Shiv coming through from Zhao too, but he's going to be very far behind on it. So he should be able to secure this crown without too much trouble. And I think normally when you go Shiv Akali, or Shiv in general, you do just try and get it as soon as possible. Or maybe a hook coming through.
Yeah, oh!
Nice jump. Mission though, he just keeps on cooking. Runs the same.
Oh, Nesty, no flash. This could be problematic. No, he's just going to run it on past. He's happy enough.
Ooh.
Oh, a lot of questionable stuff going on around
I think
the map.
that was meant to be a potion. Instead, the tower is safe. There are no wards nearby. Ooh. Hook does go wide.
Ana and
Hana's
Daisy
here.
putting down those bushmakers.
Now, looks like nothing will come of it. On the minimap, though, Mission potentially being looked at mid. Needs to be careful. Needs to save a soldier. Nice poke coming in from Zhao, who did just use the E. And Mission, he might feel like he can get aggro here.
Yeah, oh, Xiaotu getting so low. Mission is going to have the soldier to get out here. WSL will not be able to land that Q, and now it's just under the tower again. The second time this game, collateral damage will not have the damage. As Nesty flash, he lands it! Oh, what a clinic. This is a mid laner.
It is. That's two mid laners on your screen. And now, Mission, he's pulled very far ahead off that, is up 40 CS in what was pretty much just by himself. I mean, even kind of turned that gank around 1v2. It's a nice shove into the tower. And that Graves just did not do enough damage. Is going the Gore Drinker build. Cascada, he's being looked at. Looks like he'll be fine, though.
Yeah, this is going to be an extremely problematic Azir now.
And with, you know, that all that early AP coming out from those Shadow Flame components, it was just so much damage put onto Zhao. Probably lost a bit too much before WSL was ready to go. And unfortunately, that really cost them. Again, feels like they maybe could have killed Mission there, but instead a very hard punish for it. And I hope we return alive, because we're seeing some crazy stuff down here in the bottom left.
Like WSL getting a bit aggressive. Ignite was used by Nesty there onto that Graves. Looks like no one will be going down, but some of the trades.
And lots of sums burned. Shadow Flame now completed for Mission, so has this very big spike. There's no other MR to speak of other than those Merc treads. So at least for now, this is going to be extremely strong. And maybe that's why he went for the lethal tempo. It does allow him to go for builds that don't require any attack speed, really. And just have the lethal kind of prop that up for him. And it looks like it's working. I mean, CS lead's very in his favor. Pepro, he's going to grab some much-needed gold for himself.
I wonder if Mission's build paths are matchup dependent. Like, if he's against the Ahri, does he do this?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like... Ooh, hold on. WSL, he is around Mission. Has everything he needs to get out.
WSL finding at least an auto here, but that trigger seed there, the shield, will stop anything really from coming out, as WSL actually still looking for an invade. Azir quite low, but can do a lot of damage very quickly, as you're seeing on your screen there.
And there's no boots even for Azir.
I want to say as well, I feel like Gore Drinker Graves isn't the go this game, because who are you really going to be in range of? Like, reliably in this game, who, I mean, Blitzcrank and Cassante?
Yeah, Cassante. That's pretty much it.
But if you auto-attack Cassante, because, you know, he's built the best anti-Renekton item there is the Thornmail, you're also just not going to be getting heals there. So, and as Graves, he works a little bit different than Renekton. He can't rely on his Q so much, at least especially for healing. As 3v3 starts out, Hook lands onto Xiaotu, Silence comes through, Cascada will find one, and from nowhere.
Yeah, wow. I mean, Nesty, I think he's been pretty solid this game, working towards that Everfrost. Only fitting that as a mid laner, he is still building AP. TP comes in from the Renekton, so it looks like the side of Dewish team, they want to hard contest this. Down a lot of gold, though.
And down their mid laner.
Yeah, have to be very careful. They might get the drag,
Hana
but...
is slowly walking in, but it's going to be a hook landed yet again. WSL manages to actually find that dragon as Emperor's Divide comes round, manages to find two. As now Cassante trying to find what he can. Nesty leading the charge, lands that rocket punch. Is going to be JP getting low, but healing up quite nicely. Hook will not land. Slice and Dice comes out. Doesn't have access to that again as Hanabi looks to chase him down. Hana will land the Q. It's going to be Mission picking himself up yet another kill. As Xiaotu very late to the fray. Wow, look how fast Blitzcrank is. He's out of there.
And that's, I feel like, pretty weird play from Dewish team. It feels like that sort of skirmish, it's the kind of thing you'd want if you have your Akali there. But without the Akali, oh, Xiaotu getting pretty aggro. Nesty won't let him have it. But it does feel, I think, very weird that Dewish team, down a lot of gold, missing your Akali from this fight, try to contest, especially because they don't really have spikes that allow them to contest this. So basically just trying to play a 5v4 from behind. And you see how well that goes for them. Mission, he finds a very good flank, shoves straight. And look how much damage the Emperor's Divide does. It pretty much gets Pepro down to maybe 40% AP, 40% HP, excuse me, just from all that AP that Mission has. JP, I wonder if he'd maybe been able to trade back at least one kill. Ooh, Xiaotu forced to ult away from Hanabi. And Xiaotu, I mean, he's going to be very, very behind on your Shiv. Normally good Shiv timing around the 9 to 10 minute mark. But unfortunately, it's been set very far behind. He went for the tier 2 boots, probably wasn't the best choice. Has also fallen extremely behind and didn't manage to pick up any kills yet.
Is this ever Froster's Air?
I think those build into Crown.
Oh, true, okay. And then?
Yeah, I mean, he probably feels like if he doesn't die, there is just no way they lose this game. And look at the Kaiser build, Dustblade and Collector.
Yeah, we've seen this out of him once before. If it's the same, he's going to have Essence Reaver next into Shadow Flame. I don't know how much I like the Shadow Flame, but that is what he went last time. Obviously, it does give you that W upgrade. WSL, though,
yeah,
he's cooking.
Pepro. Ooh. He's just getting destroyed.
Now, waiting here was all for naught. In fact, you almost lost your 80 carry for it.
He's playing the long con. Unfortunately, was just forced to base.
Oh,
and
how does that happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Xiaotu, it's very difficult. I think he might be down 2, maybe even 3 levels there. And really just doesn't have any wave clear to speak of. Okay, he has now completed Shiv, but it's 18 minutes in. And it feels like all the advantage you get from building Shiv, of having wave clear early, of being able to just scale well into the game with it, is just kind of nullified completely. I think Xiaotu, he's made a lot of mistakes this game.
Wow.
We'll see how this happened. I mean, very greedy recall. Oh, he took it forward, but look how little damage he deals.
Yeah. Almost doing more damage to himself. Okay. Remember, he has flash available during all of this.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what he was thinking, though. Even going in, you can never kill the Cassante there, and feels like you can't chunk him out either. Oh, maybe looking at
Rocket
Nesty.
jump onto Nesty. He doesn't have all that much health, but he does have a nice shield there come through as a lot of damage is returned onto Inhao. Cascada going forward, he finds 2 with the Acathian Rain. Both bot laners here for Dewish team down as WSL trying to find some damage, but taking far more in response.
And now, feels like DCG, they can just go down mid. Don't have a Herald, but there just isn't really any wave clear other than the Shiv. And that should be the tier 2 tower falling. And it's so crazy that Dewish team, they managed to pick up 2 Heralds, but they haven't picked up a single tower.
Yeah, like 1 Herald's still in pocket, but where are you ever going to get to use that?
Yeah, maybe they can drop a bot. We'll have to see. His Mission feels like he does just have free reign. There really just isn't enough threat onto him to make him think twice about walking up and punishing here. Now,
even onto Hanabi. No one has the damage to take them. It's Daisy. Daisy's going in. This is going to be taken out, so that reasonably important cooldown used, but Ivan, more about his shielding than anything else. Hanabi just sitting there tanking it up, letting that minion survive. We'll be able to find an inner. That's a lot more gold onto this Azir, who's already at 2 items. It is the crown picked up, you correctly guessed. Dark Seal, 8 stacks.
Okay. So DCG, where do you go from here? I think just picking up the next dragon, picking up the Baron, should both be pretty easy. It's very hard, I think, for Dewish team to contest. Ooh, too much move speed from Xiaotu. But either way, you're not really going to miss having the Emperor's Divide. Don't really need it here. Herald is dropped bot, and I think WSL should be able to pick up this tower. Just a nice little bit of gold in his pocket. Has himself the Black Cleaver.
Yep. He's at 2 items, so if anything's to happen, it's really on him. That's going to be the Scuttle Crab gobbled up. Dragon is getting reasonably low, half health, as JP now teleporting in behind, right next to Mission. Actually, it's Yaltu, sorry, I stand corrected. Hanabi, though, in the middle of 4, taking literally no damage. Flash forward, is going to use all out onto Pepper on this Tristana, as Cryscala follows up with that killer instinct. That's 2 found now, as it will be a 3rd. JP going down in the pit. And now, I feel like DCG probably going to look at the Baron buff, start to close out this game.
Think so, and Zhaltu, he's getting looked at, not really tanky enough to stand up to this. Is forced away.
Found. Yeah, WSL getting really, really low here, is just CC'd forever. Does eventually go down, and with 4 members dead, Zhaltu the only one left alive. It will be Baron getting looked at as Mission aims to take down the Inhib Tower himself.
DCG really just getting everything on the map right now, and in that fight, I think Mission dealt about 5,100 damage, and Zhaltu did about 300. And that feels horrible, of course, because, you know, those are the fights that you should normally win. If this game is more even, Dragon Fights is where you want to be as Dewish team with your skirmish-heavy composition. But unfortunately, so far behind here, really just don't have a way to win the team fights that should be favorable. As we kind of see here, Zhaltu, he was recalling a bit late, so isn't going to be able to TP here for a long time until Dewish team were already getting engaged on. The TP comes through, but feels like it might already be too late. DCG, they've found themselves a great position. And Hanabi, he's invincible. You know, they're hitting him the whole time, and he's taken pretty much no damage till he ults over the wall. And Cryscala goes in, the lethality looks very good on those squishy targets. And Mission, the consistent DPS cleans it all up. And you got to be wondering about the Akali pick at this point, because it hasn't found a way in this game whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at Hanabi's damage.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy for a full tank. Something wrong with that, champ.
Definitely looking very good on the day. Now, it was looking like Nash's is going to be the pickup here for Cryscala, so I like this a lot better than I like his previous build with the Essence Reaver into Shadow Flame. I think the Nash's also gives you the immediate W upgrade, as he's going to immediately look as soon as that W lands. It's a 3-man Empress Divide from Mission. Inhale going down in an instant, and it looks like WSL to follow. 2 members found, and with the amount of wave clear unavailable here for Dewish team, likely to be the game as well, as Hana flashes forward, will land that route. Hanabi going to follow up, and Cryscala executing JP, but he'll be found as well, dying to that tower. Neshti trying to stay alive here as Zhaltu dips and dives in his Shroud. Ultimately, though, now, no Shroud available. He's just running away, and Mission at full health, as well as Hanabi. Should be able to clear out the Nexus.
Looks like they will. Oh, Pepper, he's trying to get one more. Looks like he won't be able to, though. Mission is just padding the stats. He's dealing so much damage. This is Zhaltu's
they're looking
moment.
for another. They're looking for another. It's going to be Hanabi finding himself one. Nesty will go down. Wow, what an absolute fight. Mission not even using his soldiers at this point, literally just auto-attacking.
Yeah, I wonder how much damage he padded there at the end. Got to 25 stacks on the Medjais. And ultimately,